Scrimmage of the we had a little bit of live work, a little half scrimmage work, but this was the first day to let them play. You get 3 full scrimmages in spring ball, counting the spring game. So this one, and we'll have one more, and then obviously the spring game. But 7 days, man, really pleased with. The biggest thing is just this. It's not always this way, and I'm really I really like this team in the one aspect of. Sometimes as a head coach, you walk out there and you just see things from a different lens. But when you walk out there, sometimes there's days where you don't feel like everybody's giving it, and you gotta freaking get it out of them. And I have not had not one day with this team in 7 days that I have felt like I've had to go get it. And that is a credit to the leadership. Our staff have really done a great job, but the guys have really shown up every day. 7 days, and that's easy to say early, but for 7 days we've had great energy, and we've had great competitiveness. I mean, it's really been competitive, and the guys there hasn't been one lull in just that spirit, if you will. So I'm really, really pleased with that, and we got a lot of good players out here. It's good to get some of these young guys and get them some work. I'm really pleased. Man, Coach Riley's done a great job. I'm really pleased with offensively what we've actually we got a lot in. We've actually been able to get a lot done, and probably the biggest thing is procedurally we've really been clean. So I'm just very encouraged by what we've been able to do to this point. And obviously we got 7 scholarship receivers that aren't practicing right now live, and missing Tate and Parks, but it's been really good. It's been good to just see us get things installed and see the guys, catch on to what we're doing and having some fun. So it's been a good spring to this point. Excited for these guys. We'll have meetings tomorrow, and then we'll let them have a break for spring break, and then come back and finish up strong in the second half. But I'd say we're ahead of where I would want us, where I thought we may have been at this point. Going in, a lot of new people, obviously doing some things new offensively from just not really philosophy-wise, but systematically a little bit, and some terminology and stuff like that, getting everybody on the same page. And they've done a great job, man. Coaches have done an awesome job, and really, really pleased with where we are right now.
What's Garrett like coaching the coaches, sort of?
Oh, he's great. I mean, these are very, very. They're all about the same age, with the exception of K. Rich. He's probably I guess he's the oldest in the room. Was he about 41 or 2 or something like that? But they're all about the same. They all have great experience, and it's easy for them to communicate because it's again, it's just you may call something different, but it's still ball. But it's been great, getting everybody on the same page, and that's probably been the biggest thing, especially when you hire a guy coming in that really doesn't know anybody. Kind of like when I hired Brent, he came in, and I had a great staff, and he did a good job, and same thing with Garrett, just coming in and installing the way he wants to install it, and getting on the same page, but. He's just really good. He's got a great demeanor. The biggest thing I like about Garrett is he's very confident, and he's really got great energy every single day. And I love that about him, and that just resonates with everyone. So they've done a good job. I think they've all had a lot of fun.
The tempo on offense significantly faster today?
We can dictate the tempo. We can go fast. We kind of vary it. But we've got the ability to go really fast, and we've got the ability to slow it down, and I think we have we've got all that installed as far as what we need to do, just procedurally. That's again probably the thing I'm most pleased with. Is normally you'd be thinking offsides, cadence issues, alignment issues, and things like that, and we really haven't had that. We really haven't. So really pleased with that aspect of it.
Any guys that maybe young guys that kind of you're pleased with right now that maybe stood out in the first real scrimmage?
It's easy to see those young D linemen. They're hard to miss those guys. They are as advertised, that's for sure. Really that whole group of mid-years are as advertised. I've noticed every single one of those guys. man, CV I thought really looked poised today. Those 3 linemen are really going to be good players. I've noticed all of them at one time or another. Noble is a kid that's really, really skilled. He's got all the ability in the world. I mean, I think we knocked it out of the park as far as, he's still got a lot to learn and putting it together, but man, he can really run and change direction. He's got a great body for the position. He's a great kid. And then over on the other side, man, those D linemen, jeez, man, those 4 D linemen in here, Burley and Steph Island and TJ and Peter. I mean, they're everything you want. Same thing with Jamal and D. I mean, they absolutely really stand out. Shelton had a pick 6 today. He's a kid that's really stood out. Kylan Webb, Khalil Barnes. I mean, they're what we thought they were. So I mean, there's nobody. I think they've all flashed at some point. That whole young group. So nobody that we're disappointed with. Nobody that I'm like, oh boy, that's going to take a while. I mean, they're all as advertised.
You talk about Peter. Is it pretty similar to when Brzee or Christian came in right off the bat?
I'd say he's ahead of them.
Wow.
He's ahead of them, and both of those guys played at really small schools. And Peter's one of the strongest kids on the team right now. But he played 7A football in Alabama. He played in 5 state championships in a row and won 4 of them in a row at Thompson High School. And he's just played at a really high level. And he's further along as a football player, but has all those things that you love about Brian and Christian and all that. So, we'll see. And I'd say the same thing about Burley and Steph Island. Those guys are, man, these are really good players that have been incredibly well coached, coming from really good programs, competitive programs, and they have not been overwhelmed. So it's been encouraging to see.
What have you seen in the 2 guard spots with Tate and Walker?
Musical chairs. We're kind of looking at everybody. We've from Trent to Linthicum to Tucker to obviously Mitchell. Mitchell's made some big strides. I think he really gained a lot of confidence, and I think that was the biggest thing for him was just kind of confidence. And he gained a ton of confidence those last 4 games of the season. And then Dietrich, that's kind of been the guys. And of the young guys, man, Harris Sewell has really, really caught my attention. I mean, he is a really natural football player, incredibly physical inside, picks things up really, really quickly, very strong and incredibly flexible and can really bend. I mean, he's a great, just really understands leverage and how to play in there. So, I mean, it's a musical chairs. I mean, we're really repping a lot of people, which is good. While we got those guys, it's going to make us better.
With Shelton, I know you mentioned he had a pick 6 today. He was a guy that a couple of the quarterbacks were mentioning, some of the veterans. He's a guy that's really impressed them. Just what have you seen from him so far?
He's very skilled. I think I mentioned that to y'all at the bowl. I mean, I got the chance to get a sneak peek of him at the bowl, and he's just a smooth, very instinctive, very natural player, and it's very important to him. But he can run. He's got really good technique. He's got excellent ball skills, and he's incredibly competitive. So all those things are going to serve him well. But he's not been overwhelmed. He's picked things up. He's shown up and competed every single day. And, I mean, he's a as I said about the whole group. That entire group is just what we hoped they'd be.
I feel like Hunter Helms has developed into a pretty good number 2.
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's gotten in a little better shape. He's changed his body. He's not a guy that's going to make a million plays with his legs, but he's very smart. He understands the game. He knows the offense. He understands defense, and but he's really changed his composition, and that's really, I think, helped him. I mean, he's leaned up and looks good. He's moving a little bit better. But he's done a great job. I mean, he's a guy that you can depend on. And CV, like I said, is I mean, it's just easy to see the talent. I mean, the kid can really run, and he's got a big arm. He can absolutely rip it. So we've got a really good situation there. And then, Paul hadn't been able to practice. Hopefully, he'll be able to do some things, post spring break. So we'll see. But I feel good about the guys that we have for sure. And then Cade has really just continued to rise from where he was and finishing the season.
How different is Tristan Lane where he was when you arrived at left tackle?
Different person. He's not even. I mean, he was a. I mean, compared to that guy, I mean, that guy was a 20, and this guy is an 80. Compared to who he was when he got here, coming out of COVID, no football, out of shape, not strong, hadn't been in a weight room. I mean, he's completely different. I mean, he's really worked hard. I mean, he's one of the guys I'm so proud of, because a lot of guys aren't very self-aware, and he is, and he has really worked hard to just do everything he needs to do to be a better version of himself. And whether it's physically, nutritionally, weight room-wise, film-wise, knowledge-wise, he's just a guy that works all the time. It's very important to him to be a great player. And so he's so far from the guy that showed up here, but he's still a young player, So, but really pleased with he's done some really good things. He's missed some plays too, just communication and things. But nobody wants it more than Tristan, that's for sure.
Coach, sorry.
I was just gonna say you've had a lot of guys you talked about arrive ready.